In this episode, we delve into the sensitive topic of a family's experience with suicide. Please be aware that this content may be distressing for younger audiences. Our intention is to approach the subject with empathy and provide insights and resources for those who need them. If you or someone you know is struggling, please seek appropriate support. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello, everybody. This is the Theology and Perspective Podcast. I'm Christian, and I've got a whole bunch of guests with me, starting with Chris over here. Can you introduce yourself, Chris?
I can't do it.
You can't do it?
Can't do it. It's impossible. I don't know how anybody expects it.
I don't know. But this is Chris Prestage. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Chris.
That's about all I got.
That's what's up. And we got Ronnie McNutt's mother, our former co-host, Miss Elaine. And then we got Allie. We have Kenneth. We have Tyler doing our recording. He's going to be mixing for us. We got Joey over here, and we got Joey's wife. How's everybody doing?
We don't know who her name is.
That's right.
I don't know how this slipped past. Christian, you need to rework your research.
Exactly. My apologies. Her name is Susan. She kind of lifted to me. But hey, we make mistakes.
Yep.
So, kind of the subject we're going to be talking about today. If you guys haven't noticed, Ronnie has not introduced himself. And a good many of you know the reason why. Our co-host, he so unfortunately took his life about a month and a half ago now, right? And I know you guys have been itching for us to have another episode. We've been on hiatus for a good while, and we decided to extend that hiatus just to give everybody time to process things. But Ronnie's family and a few of his friends with us, we decided to do an episode kind of commemorate with him, just to kind of share our memories. And if you guys have any memories to share too, feel free to share that on our Facebook or whatever, just an episode that you guys enjoyed or something like that. Kenneth, you have the suicide hotline, am I correct?
Yes, I do. It's 800-273-8255. And another resource you can look up is Talkspace.com.
Talkspace.com. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Not a sponsor. They do sponsor some podcasts, but not this one. But since we're talking about someone who took his own life, I do want to give that option, Talkspace.com. It is a virtual counseling. It's basically like a Zoom meeting or Skype. There are certified counselors on there that will meet your needs and talk to you through whatever you're going through.
Wow. So that's Talkspace.com?
Yes, it is.
Well, you guys have heard it. If you guys are struggling with any suicidal thoughts or even just depression, first of all, feel free to reach out in general. Don't keep that stuff in. You need to reach out. You need help. We all do. We all go through tough spots, and some of us have worse than others. Ronnie, he was in a low part of his life.
You can reach out on Talkspace.com or the suicide hotline. Once again, 800-273-8255. Or even people around you.
Yeah.
Whether you know it or not, whether you believe it or not, there's people around you that have been through similar things. There's people around you that if you come out and say, look, I'm struggling, they'll be there to walk through it with you.
I agree. You're not alone. You're not alone. So, we're making memories about our friend. One memory that comes to mind is just generally just doing the podcast. Ronnie was a very brilliant mind, and I think everybody in his family and his friends would agree. Kenneth over here has had tons of disagreements.
I'll say he was an opinionated one,
yeah,
for sure.
Very opinionated.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I've seen some pretty heated arguments between Ronnie and Kenneth.
I've heard about some pretty heated arguments.
Oh man, let me tell you guys something. Me and a friend of ours, we thought we would have to separate the two. I thought there was about to be some fists flying, like two bearded men. Oh man.
Can you imagine the fur flying on that one?
I mean, that too. Beard being ripped out. blood everywhere. Just like it would have been bad.
I don't know. They're both beard lovers. I don't know if they go for the beards. Everything else would be game, but the beards.
Good point. Good
Can't
point.
touch the beard.
Can't touch the beard. The mutual respect for the
But
beards.
that was Ronnie. If he believed it, he was going to preach it to the end.
Exactly.
That's for sure.
And he did exactly that with
Yes.
specifically the,
Whether you
the
liked it or
LGBT.
not.
Wrong or not?
Wrong or not. If he believed it in his head, he was going to be, and he'd stand behind it.
Yeah.
I think probably one of my most favorite sayings, and he's probably said it on the podcast too. I can't quite remember. One of the things he'd always say if I disagreed with him on something, whether he was wrong or right. Oh yeah, you can disagree. That's perfectly fine. You're wrong though, but it's okay.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
I think that was probably his most favorite thing to say. So, but what are some memories that you guys would want to share? Again, we're keeping this open mic. There's no specific order or anything like that. We're just kind of going with the flow of things. Anybody have anything that they want to share?
I remember the first time I met Ronnie. That was an interesting.
Frogs.
The frogs. I met Ronnie through a mutual friend who was our DM for Dungeons and Dragons. Yes, I'm that kind of nerd.
Ronnie was too.
Yes, he was.
Fully.
Boy, was he that kind of nerd. We had just started up a game, and it was the first time I got to play a bard. And turns out to be my favorite class, ironically enough.
First is always the
Not
favorite.
because of Ronnie, though. I can assure you it wasn't because of Ronnie. No, we were playing, and at the time, he was working security. So his hours were all weird. And he was the roommate for our mutual friend. And I remember we eventually talked him into joining the game. And when he joined the game, he decided he wanted to be a barbarian dwarf. An amnesiac barbarian dwarf. It did not have a name. For those of you who actually play D&D, had 6 for intelligence. For those of you who don't play D&D, in order to be a speaking, coherent individual in Dungeons & Dragons, you have to have at least 8 intelligence. So not only could he not string together a full sentence, he showed up wearing no clothes.
Oh.
It was an
Sounds about right.
This was the character Ronnie distinctly chose to play. Not only did he choose to play it, he took less points in his status specifically so he could play this character.
Did he show up in character?
No. I was surprised, but no.
Knowing him, come on.
Right.
Exactly.
But that was my introduction to Ronnie, was him playing the nameless graybeard dwarf who had to take a poop one time and ended up starting a fight. It was an interesting first introduction, and we at first weren't that great. We weren't that close. I was a bit more outspoken than he was. He was a lot more reserved at the time. But it didn't take long, and he understood that we might disagree in our approaches, but at the end of the day, we kind of were on the same team.
Yeah.
And then he reached out to me, about to be a year and a couple months now. Mm-hmm. He was living up in Memphis, working at a job, and he wanted to move back, and he knew that I was trying to get into a better place, so he offered to be my roommate. And that was how that started. Was I told him, for all our differences, Ronnie has and still is one of the most responsible people I've known. Never, ever let somebody else carry the weight for something he wasn't able to handle.
Right.
Bills were always paid on time. Never had to worry about the lights getting turned off. Was always spot on what you want for a roommate, financially speaking. His sleep habits were odd to deal with. But overall, he's the best roommate I had. We had our differences, but all friends do, I think. Oh boy, we wanted to throw some slugfest over those dishes, though.
I would hear the venting on that one.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, I heard venting like you wouldn't believe on both sides. Don't let Chris fool you now. Like,
Oh, I can get on a soapbox.
he should. You guys both did, I swear. Like, especially when we were at his place recording an episode for the podcast or whatever like that. Ronnie would get on that soapbox and just be like, "Oh, I'm so frustrated with Chris right now. Those dishes haven't been done in a month."
Yeah, it says the guy who let the ham sit for a month.
I mean, hey, it is what it is, and it happens. I've had roommates too.
I'm not mad about it.
I know.
You can ask my fiance. I don't do dishes. I'm bad about it. I cook. That's what I do. I'm good at cooking.
Well, I'm
Did
speaking.
you eat the ham at the end of the month?
No.
Knowing me, I probably would have.
No, you wouldn't have. Boy, you wouldn't have. That whole apartment reeked. So bad. Like, going in the kitchen was hard. Like, I mean, you just walk in the kitchen and, like, immediate nausea would hit your face.
I just throw it up myself.
That's what I was going to say. Why didn't you just throw it up yourself?
That's what.
Get him, Allie.
Tell me.
Get 'em.
Tell me about it. I said, so the whole deal was we had a Christmas party, right? This happened the week before Christmas because the work we were doing the week of Christmas off. And Ronnie, being the first Christmas he had come back from Memphis, he wanted to throw a Christmas party. So he invited several friends, including Christian and, you know, a bunch of other people.
I got my memories about that Christmas party.
He was expecting about 20 people, and not everybody showed up. But he baked a big, like, 12-pound ham. It was, don't get me wrong, man can cook a ham. Not
Yes, he can.
But the deal was he was going to cook the ham, and then I would cook all the sides. So I cooked, you know, a couple desserts, and I had made some vegetables and some potatoes and things to go with it. Well, when not everybody showed up like he wanted to, he got a little frustrated. And then at the end of the night, after we had some friends show up, I started doing some of the dishes and got the stuff that I had dirtied myself. I got, you know, all the vegetables put away. I got, you know, my desserts put away, and I had done the dishes for the most part for my stuff. And I said, all right, Ronnie, I finished everything I got. You just take care of the ham and we'll call it square. A month later, the ham is still sitting next to the stove. Not even cut up and put in the fridge, just sitting there. And lo and behold, I actually went on a trip, as you recall, to Missouri for a week after that. So I wasn't even there. And I come back, and not only has the trash not been taken out, but the ham's just sitting there. And I'm like, no. Not doing it. Not doing it. It sat there a week. He knew.
Y'all were some stubborn people. Let me tell you. I swear, you guys have about the equal amount of stubbornness.
Oh, so, but we were passive aggressive about it either. We didn't argue with each other. We just didn't say anything. We left it there in obvious places.
You just vented to the redheaded stepchild.
No, this is what I did. When we got tired of not taking the trash out, I gave him his own trash can and took my trash can and put it in the bedroom. And then anytime I had to throw something away when I cooked, I took it to my bedroom.
I mean, hey.
I made it obvious that I'm not taking his trash out no more.
The feasible passive-aggressive solution.
Oh, and you saw the pizza boxes he piled up. They were stacked to the ceiling.
I sure did.
I'm not making that much trash. Yeah, let's look at all those Taco Bell bags you got on the ground.
His car was about the same.
Oh, yeah. Believe me, I know. I changed that tire that he blew.
Oh,
I think
that tire, how did it stay on the car?
I don't know.
Because it blowed out on the sides, on everywhere.
The funny thing was we actually had to look up a YouTube video. Not because I didn't know how to change the tire, but because it had security lugs and it had caps on the lugs.
Oh,
and I had never seen caps on lugs before. So I'm sitting here like, what is this star piece that I'm supposed to take off? That's not what this lug wrench looks like. I didn't understand what I was looking at. And then, you know, Ronnie was adamant. I'm just going to take it down to Volkswagen and they're going to take care of it later. I finally get a video on YouTube pulled up and I see this guy and he pops it up. I'm like, son of a... And I grab it's this stupid looking, looks like a coat hanger got twisted up into a corkscrew. You stick it in the little star hole and you pull and it pops that cap right off. And then after that, I'm like, I got this. Changed it in 5 minutes and he's like, you're my hero, Chris.
fun stuff. Fun
He
stuff.
ran over a ladder.
Yeah, I don't understand how that even happened.
Like, how did you not see the ladder in the road?
Going to Memphis on an empty freeway.
To be fair, though, at least he was cleverly disguised. It was Memphis. Memphis drivers do not know how to drive. They're worse than Tupelo drivers, let me tell you.
I don't know about
He lived
that.
in Nashville. He lived in Smyrna, right out of Nashville.
Okay, So I was going to say Memphis.
He was going to Tennessee. That's where I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
smart.
was nice.
And I remember him coming back.
I'm sitting on
We were
every
all
time you
looking
say
at each
Memphis.
other
weird.
like, what?
I remember him coming back and saying something about how he destroyed a sensor on the engine, which is on top of the engine.
I mean, hey. I've probably
Well, you
done
dented
worse.
your oil pan, my friend. Just go get a new oil pan.
He
Man.
wasn't much of a mechanic.
No, and then he got that Camry. He just said, to heck with it, I don't want it anymore.
So
And I washed that Camry,
I believe it.
and it's white.
It is?
Looks
I thought it was
nice.
gray.
It's nice now.
And it doesn't have black spots on
Oh,
it.
now that I
No. And I took it and had it cleaned on the inside. It was bad.
I want to know how many garbage bags I have.
I didn't stay. I didn't hang around. I just left it. I said, I'll clean it up. I'll come back and get it.
I don't know. Joey gave him the worst habit he had. Those number of spit bottles we found.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even want to talk about how many times I cleaned that for him. That took a while. He didn't just let it get about half full and throw it away. He got a full bottle every time.
Oh my.
Yeah.
And kept it.
Well, now he wasn't trying to, but he accidentally did several times.
Just 1 month at a time.
He would let it develop for scientific reasons.
Right. There we go. Good biology. Right? See, he was a great scientist.
And for one-
we talk about brilliant minds. See,
Well, I don't know. He didn't document it well enough.
fair enough. But hey, who does?
As
I
they
know
say
I
on
know.
Mythbusters, the difference between science and messing around is writing it down.
True. That's a good point. Very good point. So, what about anybody else? I know Joey's probably got some big things to share. I know Ronnie's mother definitely does. What are some things that you guys, like family-wise, have to share?
Let's see here.
Which one?
Well, when
Ronnie, don't get you
growing
arrested.
Up, when Ronnie was growing up, though, I was already old enough. I was kind of in and out of the house. So, I wasn't around a whole lot. But it was just little things that Ronnie would do when I was at home. Like when we were talking earlier, he was just a little guy. And we were sitting down to eat, said a little prayer, and Ronnie stands up in his chair and says, "Hallelujah!" And we all kind of looked at him and we were like, "What? Hallelujah!" And we finally figured out he was trying to say hallelujah.
I don't know. I really love that song, Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Next time this
I think I'm
song
gonna
is
start saying
that's what we're gonna
I
do.
heard there was a secret chord.
Hallelujah.
I'm about to say, we don't want to get the copyright struck here.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But Chris was talking about his car, and it was only a couple of months ago. I was sitting at home, and Ronnie calls, and he says, "Hey, Joey." I said, "Hey, what's going on, brother?" He said, "Hey, I had a flat over here around Golden." He said, "Do you know a tire store that's open?" I said, "Well, not on Saturday." I said, "Well, just put your spare tire on." He said, "Well, it's already on there."
Yeah. That tracks.
Yeah,
That was Ronnie.
To be fair, though, I've done it too, so he's not alone there.
See, I didn't do that, but I did drive a car that didn't have a spare in it.
Let me tell you, I've blown both tires. I've been guilty. I've been very guilty.
You really need to stop running those police.
But he did tell me the funniest joke, and I still tell it today. He was probably about 8 years old. And he came in one day and he said, "Hey, Joey." He said, "Do you know why girls talk more than boys?" I said, "Well, why is that, little brother?" He said, "Because girls can't keep their mouths shut." No, he said, it wasn't talking. He said, "Do you know why girls don't fart as much as boys?" I said, "No, why?" And he says, "Well, they don't keep their mouths shut long enough to build up pressure." And I still tell that joke today to people.
I mean, hey.
Got to work on your delivery next time.
I got confused there for a minute.
I mean, hey. It was still funny, though. But what about you, Miss Elaine?
I always like to remember when he was a little boy. He loved frogs. He'd find them frogs and he'd put them in his pocket. And I'd do the laundry. And I killed a lot of frogs. Finally, I started checking those pockets. And that eased up. But he still would get them and put them in his pocket and take them out to his grandma's house. He told his grandma, he said, I got this trick frog, Mama. I want to show it to you. So he pulled it out of his pocket and he grabbed it by both of its little legs and just started twirling it around. twirling. Mama like had a heart attack. Quit that, you killing that frog. He was just a little fella, probably 4 or 5.
Traumatized frogs.
Yes, he loved frogs.
I remember grabbing frogs too, actually, back when I lived in Ohio. We had tons of them. They weren't frogs, they were toads. But we'd pick them up all the time. I used to be scared of them. Like, I used to be afraid of anything that jumped when I was a kid. I was a little girly back then, I'm not gonna lie.
Back then?
Very true. I'm still a little
Say
sensitive.
that this long, luxurious hair you got going on here.
The luxurious locks.
Make him
I mean, hey. Gotta love the red hair.
I don't know. Yours is mighty silky.
Silky.
Maybe he's born with it. Baby, it's Maybelline.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor.
Contact us, Maybelline. We need to make a deal.
You know what? I wouldn't mind getting paid 25 cents a mention for Maybelline.
That's all you want?
Just do a whole episode where we do like 100 mentions of Maybelline.
Just
Maybelline.
you get what, $10?
Right. There we go. See?
Man, paid for the soda for the evening.
And then, but here's the thing though, like we'd get paid per view, so like that $10 builds up over time. So
Now, pay-per-view, you're talking about something else.
that's true.
We're getting that kind of joke going on. Hold on. I gotta step my game up now.
Oh man, Ronnie was good for those jokes.
No. Ronnie was the best at those jokes.
Yes, he was.
There were days where even I went Ronnie, not now.
That's pretty bad.
That's pretty bad.
He outdid you. But what about you, Allie?
A lot of mine are just really like little memories. Like there was one time he locked me out of the house because he told me I needed to go and get exercise because I was a little kid. I
Dang.
needed to be outside.
Dang.
And so,
How old was he?
I'm not sure how old he was.
17, 18.
I was at least like 7.
Oh, well,
So-
he was 19, 20.
Something like that.
So by exercise, did he mean that you needed to see an exorcist or get on a treadmill? Wow. Because I want to know where his mind was at the time.
Very true.
And then there was one time we were jumping the trampoline together and he fell right through the trampoline. He jumped straight through it.
Well, that's the end of that one.
Did a hole pop through, or did
Yes.
the springs just
No,
fail?
a hole. He jumped and
Straight through.
straight through a hole. Just
You
the
know,
hole came.
here's the thing. I'm a big dude, and I'm never getting on a trampoline ever again. That story. I'll just be
Probably
honest.
for the best.
Probably for the best. Those poor trampolines that I victimized, jumping on them, being as big as I am now. But anyways,
Y'all know Ronnie was a big gamer, okay?
he was. He
Back
was.
in the day when the cards, what do you play? Magic.
Oh.
His daddy used to get up every Saturday morning and take him and another friend to a bookstore in Corinth, and they would play Magic. And that was what he lived for.
Yes, he did.
All week long was for that Saturday morning.
Fuck.
One of his coaches at school,
Wow.
he used to go over to his coach's house, Coach Rhodes, and they would play Magic.
It's funny that you mentioned Magic, because I originally thought it was Dungeons and Dragons. It wasn't, because I remember it being a card game. But that game is actually kind of my introduction to Ronnie. We talked about the Christmas party that we all had last year.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
So I was one of the people that showed up. Enjoyed the ham. That was actually my first time trying mead. I felt like I was a Skyrim character after that. Like,
Glad you enjoyed it.
oh, I loved it. I
You
loved
should have
it.
came back a month later. You could have had some more.
Exactly. Well, the mead,
Still sitting there waiting on you.
well, see, the thing about it is the mead probably still would have been good, but the ham, I don't know about all that. So
Flies liked it.
I bet they
Oh,
did.
Lord.
I bet they did. But we all had a great time. I thought it was fun. I met Jamie for the first time too. The only person that I really knew at that apartment was Chris. But I got to talking with Ronnie and got to digging in his brain a little bit. And at this point, this is where the podcast was just a thought in my brain. That'd be kind of something fun to do, but I would probably need a co-host or something like that. And Ronnie and I just started discussing theology. And I thought, man, this guy's really brilliant. I think if I'm going to do a podcast, I'm going to have him on there as my co-host. And then Chris comes in the living room, and all of a sudden the game of Magic just becomes a topic of conversation, and I'm sitting there on the outskirts of the conversation. Jamie, Chris, and Ronnie, they're all talking about it, and I'm like, what the F is going on? These guys are speaking in a different language that I do not understand. It's like tongues, but it's not Jesus that they're talking about. It's this game called Magic.
It was, what was his name? We were speaking to our Lord and Savior, Gabe Newell.
Gabe Newell. I guess so. Good Lord. I was trying to wrap my brain around it, and eventually I just got exhausted. I'm like, I gotta, we stayed there till about 1 o'clock in the morning too, so that didn't help matters any.
No, you stayed later than that, my friend. I hate to be the bearer of bad news on that one. We wanted to kick you out, as in me and my fiance.
I can understand why, but
I mean, the way you were rubbing up on Jamie that night after a couple things of meat, and that shirt came off, and boy.
To be fair, whiskey was also involved in that.
No.
Yeah.
But Jamie got a little bit touchy on there.
Yeah.
Oh, and we want to talk. If we want to take things out of context, Ronnie brought up some videos of himself that night too.
I mean, Jamie was the one with his shirt off, though.
Yes,
to
he
be
was.
Fair, he took his shoes off and everything.
I mean, it's better than what he's done in the past. I'll give him that.
Fair enough. We still love you, Jamie.
I won't share that story on the internet, Jamie. You can tell that one yourself.
I'm mad, Jamie. You was my boyfriend. That's what we always said when Jamie come around. I don't know how we got started, but the very first time I met Jamie, when he left, I said, I see you later, boyfriend. And he's been my boyfriend ever since.
There we go.
Ronnie hit on his mother.
Ronnie did. We were at the cigar shop that day. And just Ronnie randomly shows up at the cigar shop. I'm just enjoying a good cigar or whatever. I think I had a bottle of Lagavulin in there. For those of you who don't know, again, not sponsored, but that's a Scotch whiskey.
Lagavulin, if you need to contact us, our number will be in the description.
If you want to sponsor us, hey, I would not be opposed to it. But, so let's see. Ronnie just kind of showed up at the shop randomly and just like being his normal charismatic self. The Ronnie that you got on the podcast is what most people saw of Ronnie anyway. So like, for you guys that feel like you know Ronnie, I mean, that's really the Ronnie that we all got for the most part. He did have his dark points, but my mom was really super impressed by his personality. And that's one thing I will say to you guys. I didn't even mention that to you guys. It's just, Ronnie was very super, just an infectious personality. Just, anybody that was a stranger was not a stranger. My mom was not a stranger. She knew about Ronnie, but never really met him. That was her first time.
Boy, did she know Ronnie after that.
Yes.
Tell us more.
Oh, you want to know the whole story now?
Do you?
I don't think you really want to know that whole story.
That's another one.
Yeah, we save the juicy details for after the podcast. Sorry, guys. But
if you want to get the juicy details, you can find us on our OnlyFans.
Theology and Perspective OnlyFans.com.
That was a good one.
$5 per episode.
$5 per theological mention.
For every hidden story, it's $10. There's some juicy ones.
For every mention of Jesus, that's one coin.
1 Bitcoin.
God.
Boy, those are so expensive now.
We're getting so bad. We are in a church right now, and we're talking about all this.
Ronnie would have liked it that way.
Oh, yeah, he sure would have. Oh, my gosh.
Pastor Rob.
Oh, Rob would have got into it, too.
Oh, yeah, he would.
Oh, Rob. Hey, as soon as Ronnie called him a dirty Mexican, it would have been all over.
Right. Rob's a very relatable guy, too.
Yeah, the cheese dip runs in the family.
Yep. Fair enough. So, Kenneth.
Christian, you mentioned earlier about our debates.
Yep.
Yeah, that's putting it gently.
Yeah, debates.
Yeah, our discussions lively. Yeah, we got
Energetic.
several of those.
Pyro's Pizza.
We almost got kicked out of Pyros. They started coming around. I thought they
Man,
were
that
going to
takes
call for
some work to
security.
get kicked out of that place.
I swear. But yeah, we were very opinionated, we'll say, and we got very hyped and into this is my point of view, this is my point of view. But you know, no matter what the subject is, it was mentioned earlier, LGBT, whether it be video games or movies, whatever it was, he had an opinion on it. And
Yes, he did.
and with every subject, be it LGBT or a video game or movies or a book, like he was that same way with the same energy. But in the end, we also kept it respectful. Some people might not see it as respectful, but
That's
with
exactly
us,
the way that I saw it.
I mean, it was nice sparring.
with,
I mean,
with us,
we're just throwing punches.
it was
not trying to knock
friendly
each other out.
fire. It was friendly fire. Those that are watching might not would.
I'm about to say, I think you need to
you know.
reevaluate your definition of friendly fire.
Hey,
But when we did discuss things, we never took it to insults. We never took it to name calling. And at the end, we kept it to where when we got up, we would give each other a hug and say, I love you, you know. And that was one thing that really meant a lot to me was his love.
yeah.
And even though we did go through like those heavy discussions,
Oh, heavy.
like
heavy.
in the,
Heavy water, heavy.
in the end, yes, I looked at you when I said heavy. I don't know why, Christian.
No more trampolines.
But it was still, I love you. That's what I really take away from Ronnie. You know, whenever we would get up from a discussion, it was his love. And he was loving about what he was talking about. You know?
And then generally, even in the disagreements, loving the person he was talking to.
Right.
That was several of my memories with Ronnie, actually. Just the fact that we disagree on so many things. And it's ironic that we were on a podcast together and agreed so much there with what he was saying. 'Cause we really didn't hit the controversial stuff we were wanting to.
I mean,
believe me.
discussing whether or not the Peter Parker from Spider-Man Homecoming was a tough topic to tackle. I'm telling you.
Let me tell you something. That man loved comic books.
That's mildly. Hated every Marvel movie. I mean, every one of them.
And I could not stand that about him, was just the fact that he hated Marvel movies, because I'm a big Marvel movie buff.
But he loved the comics, though. That was
Yeah.
really what it boiled down to.
And
He
you
loved
know-
the comics, and the movies aren't the comics.
No, they're not, and that's fair. But in the same time, I don't mean to interrupt
Go
you,
ahead.
but at the same time, I enjoy the movies themselves as their own entity that is connected to the comics based on the fact that they're the heroes from the comics, but they have their own story. I thought that was pretty brilliant, actually, and the fact that they got different directors to all kind of work together. Maybe little plot holes here and there, but in a way they created their own story, and it ended up being pretty brilliant. I don't think Ronnie necessarily liked the movies, though.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, I think he loved the idea, but not the movies.
But I think he liked his billfold.
Yeah,
Yeah, fair enough.
that's definitely
Did you
true.
see it? He carried that thing for lots of years. You know where he got it? Me and his dad got that billfold for him years ago.
Wow.
I did not know till his death, and they gave it to me at the funeral home, that he was still carrying that billfold.
Wow.
It's worn, but
Yeah.
you can still see the characters on it,
Wow.
because you know it was the comic book thing.
Gotcha.
But yes, I couldn't believe that he still was carrying that billfold. He didn't have any money in it, though.
No, I never had money. I tell you, that's one thing that I will always remember about Ronnie. If he wasn't saving to send his nieces and nephews to Disney World or whatever, he was saving for something else. And boy, you would think that he had all this money sitting around, but then you would see what he ate, and you'd just be like,
Very true.
"Are you broke?" Can you believe he bought 20 pounds of chicken breast and avocados and ate it for 3 weeks straight?
I can believe that, in all honesty, because
I want to know how he went to the bathroom.
The avocado might make it a little easier.
I'm sure it did.
I mean, it's a balanced diet.
Yeah. That's one way of putting it.
Protein, and then drink a little water afterwards. You're fine. I mean, hey.
Yeah, why not? You know, just wash it down. I'm not even going to go there.
Wash it down. Wash all the gout down and stuff like that. You're good. I mean, hey. But
Chicken is good for you.
it is. It is packed with protein and good for sleep.
That for sure was not the case.
Fair enough. He did kind of like to stay up a little late.
Like was not the operative word. Ronnie did struggle with insomnia. That was something he always had a hard time.
Maybe that's why he got the 20 pounds of chicken then.
That's probably why.
This is packed with melatonin.
No. Do you know? I still have that giant bottle of melatonin he bought.
I might need some of that.
No, you don't. Trust me. It's that thing so old.
Maybe it's
It'd be like eating those sugar-free Haribo egg or Haribo bears. You just really don't want to do that.
You know, he said, you gave me this, you and Joey gave me these sleeping habits. Because Joey doesn't sleep well.
Dang, Joey. He really is your twin, isn't he?
I'm telling you.
That's what
Monkey see, monkey do, I'm telling you.
his dad gave him a receding hairline.
Boy,
You ever heard that?
Boy, he grew that hair out as best he could, though.
Yes, he did.
He was proud of that hair, too.
He was. Every picture, every selfie that he has on Facebook, if you guys check it out, that big cheesy grin with that big beard that he's got and that receding hairline with blue hair or something or other.
I don't know what color that was, but it was all over his forehead.
Fair.
Purplish, bluish, green.
Wonder what
Can't
possessed him to
colorblind.
do that. Wonder.
I mean, Tyler, he likes to dye his hair pink on breast cancer.
Oh, he's just copying Markiplier.
Fair enough. Tyler, if you guys don't know, he's kind of chosen to stay silent, but he's kind of stepped up for us. But whatever's being said, he's kind of agreed to let us say it for him. So he likes to dye his hair pink, and I think it's for a good cause.
So for all you ladies out there,
I'm just saying.
Tyler is available for business.
Yes, ma'am. But if I may share one of your, or maybe just in general, your memory of Ronnie, Tyler. Tyler's here because he really wanted to kind of step up for the cause a little bit. Ronnie kind of infected Tyler in a personal way, and the thing about it is, it was very unique too. Honestly, you know, Tyler didn't really have a whole lot of interaction with Ronnie other than maybe 10 minutes worth. More or less, I mentioned earlier about those of you guys feeling like you know Ronnie just off the podcast alone. That was kind of Tyler's experience. Tyler's a close friend. We work together and things like that. But all that he would really hear from Ronnie is just on the podcast alone. And that's one thing I will say for Ronnie, definitely, is he poured his whole heart into this whole thing. He knew it was my podcast, but he kind of, like, I had no podcast experience prior to getting with him and getting on this podcast. He knew the ins and outs, and he kind of helped direct me. That's a man that really just invested his whole heart and his whole mind into whatever he was doing, and especially this podcast. He had vision, he had dream, all kinds of stuff. And this, unfortunately, is going to be our last episode. Just for right now, that season's either put on a pause or put to an end. And we might start it up in the future again, we might not. But we do appreciate you guys, and we appreciate Tyler, who was an avid listener for us. One of the things that Tyler used to say to me constantly after the incident happened is, man, it's messing with me because I really felt like I knew the guy. I only met him for 10 minutes. All I've heard is what you had to say and just the stuff that was on the podcast. I'd like to think that Ronnie's affected you guys all in a different way, but in kind of the same level. Just getting to hear his voice and hearing his thoughts on something, hearing his opinions, or even sharing the theological facts that he knew, getting to see the depth of his heart, where he was with God and all kinds of stuff, you know, and it's really unfortunate what happened with him. I know we can all agree. It's affected us in many different ways. All of us kind of think about it constantly. I don't think there's a day that goes by where I don't at least think about it at least once. To kind of share my story, and I don't want to take any credit for it because ultimately there was no stopping what happened. But for those of you that did see the video, that video was about what, 2 hours long, something like that, 40 hour and a half. It seemed like it was going on for a long time, longer than an hour and a half. But
yeah, because you messaged me about it, and I got on there, and it had already been on for 40 minutes.
It was rough. I looked at the video right as he was starting it. He was about already 4 minutes in, and you guys knew that Ronnie kind of had a habit of just getting on Facebook Live and ranting about stuff, sharing his thoughts or whatever like that, or sharing just what exactly was going on inside of his head. But for those of you that saw the whole video, we all know that something was different. Something was inherently wrong. I had just gotten home from work that day and was sitting out on my back porch speaking with my mom, and all of a sudden I see this video pop up. I'm like, what the heck's going on with Ronnie? And we turned on the sound, and I looked up at my mom. He needs a friend. And my mom, she let me take the car because my car was broken down and it was not running.
I'm about to say it was.
It still is. It's in the shop now. But so I take her car, and right as I'm getting on the highway from Saltillo to New Albany, that's when he took the gun out, and of course I floored it. There was a cop ahead of me. He pulled me over, and I respectfully said, "Officer, I know that I'm going way over the speed limit, but I have a friend that's in need." And the officer saw the video, saw the gun pointed at himself, at his chin. And he's like, "Okay, I'm going to let you go. You need to call the cops in New Albany, and I'll make sure to call that in as well." And so I get there, I speed over there, I rush over there. And the cops are already there, and time just seemed to lull. It took forever. And by that time I got there, I was ready to bust down that door. The cops didn't allow me. Well, thank God, and thank God for our cops. I will say that, especially the ones that are doing right. But he was still on live, and the officer was talking about letting me get on the megaphone and try to pep talk him, try to get him out of the apartment at all costs. I spoke things over with the officers and things like that. And I was letting Ronnie know, and the entire time on the live feed, just, I would say not even 20 feet outside of his apartment. I was literally right there in the parking lot behind one of the cop cars. And just, the officer, he's like, "Okay, so we're about to allow you on the megaphone. We got to take care of some things. We're going to try to get him out first." But right as the officer started talking about letting me get on the megaphone, that's when we heard the gunshot. And thankfully, I wasn't like the rest of you guys. I didn't see the shot. My face was turned. My face was turned, and we heard the gunshot, and I kind of already knew. And I saw the aftermath. And the thing is, there was a little bit of hope. He put the gun down with thinking, okay, maybe there's a chance he can be reasoned with. But, he did go on that rant about just talking to different people. And if I may be so blunt, and I'm not speaking bad about Ronnie, because I'm speaking only about the place that he was in, He went on these rants about different people that were commenting on the live feed and telling them what pieces of shit they were. And that's not true for any of them, I don't think. Ronnie was in just a state of mind and a state of being where his demons just took over. And it was a dark place. And it was we were kind of all in that. We, in a way, kind of shared in that. Just witnessing what was happening, watching it all unfold. But listen, for any of you guys that are struggling with that same thing, whether it be on live feed or not, first of all, don't do it. You are valued. You are loved. And your absence causes way more pain than you could ever imagine. Ronnie's absence causes us all pain every day. It's a struggle. The grief that we all feel is a struggle. It's real. It's painful. There's a lot of days where I just have to wake up just feeling heavy and trying to cope with things. My grief comes out in a lot of different ways, and different kind of loneliness and rejection. Even if it's just self-rejection, it's the weirdest thing. You got to remind yourself just to keep on going, that you are valuable. You are highly prized. God loves you guys, and God loves all of us. But it's not just a platonic kind of love. I value you. I don't want you to take your life. It's much deeper than that. He loves us all intimately. And He wants to be acquainted with all the things that are going on in our heads and in our hearts. He wants to be there with us when we're going through it. Because there is another side. He creates the other side. And that's the truth of it all. And I think if you guys, unless you guys have anything else that you guys want to say, I think we're about to wrap the podcast, this episode up.
I've got the suicide hotline number one more time. 800-273-8255.
Can you repeat that again?
800-273-8255. Don't hesitate. Call that number.
Yes.
If you're ever in that place,
Just reach out to somebody.
There's one takeaway I've had. Most people I've talked to know that I have a tattoo on my wrist. Most people know the Project Semicolon. I've had it for a year or so now. It's for people who struggle with depression. And in Ronnie's case, and in a lot of cases, there's not really any signs that something like this is going to happen. I was one of the few people who didn't know that it had happened until hours after it was over. I woke up, the next morning at 5 o'clock in the morning getting ready for work, and I find out that my roommate at my apartment had done something horrible. And just a few days prior, he was telling me he was excited. He was getting back on some medication that he had desperately needed to get on. And he had just gone on a rafting trip. Things were looking up for him. And
they were.
It just kind of caught by surprise. And I think the real takeaway for me has been, just because somebody's not showing signs doesn't mean they don't need you.
That's true.
And at the end of the day, the only thing we can do for the people we love, truly love, is to be there as much as you can. We can't always make time, but when you have the ability, make that time. Be with the people you want to be with, because you never know how much time you got left.
That's true. And the thing about it is, aside from the podcast, there were times when Ronnie and I would hang out. But I remember several times just coming home from work, and Tyler over here knows the constant hours that we've been working and working and working. We'd get 3 to 4 hours overtime sometimes, and we'd just all come home exhausted, and those would be the times that
you desperately need a friend.
Yeah, that's when Ronnie desperately needed a friend. He would call me up or whatever like that, and I didn't want to be rude. I just didn't want to have him have half of me being there, because I know I was fully exhausted. I would have been a zombie. He would have only got a percentage of me being there, a small one at that.
But I think that small percentage is sometimes what people need.
That's very true.
I don't want to tell people to, put themselves out and to burn themselves at both ends.
Right.
At the same time, if somebody takes the time to reach out to you, don't waste it.
Right.
And likewise, reach out to those friends you haven't talked to.
Right.
Because even if they're doing great, hey, good for them. Sharing their joy.
Right.
But if they're not, be their joy for a moment.
Yeah.
Give them a minute to rest. That's what so many people think. They think we need to save everybody. And people like Ronnie, people like me, we don't want to be saved. We just want to rest.
Right.
We need a minute to catch our breath.
And sometimes I'm a big spoken word guy, and Levi the poet, he's one of my absolute favorites. If you guys know me, you've heard that name before. We don't always have to have an answer. Sometimes presence, and this is what Levi said, sometimes presence is better than answers. Because even if we had answers, we'd still have the pain. Sometimes we just need presence. But right now I kind of want to, before we wrap things up, if there's anything that anybody has to say about Ronnie, I'm speaking to you guys. I would prefer the family go first. And we'll start off with you, Miss Elaine, if that's all right. Just if anything that needs to be said that you feel has been left unsaid, I would like to open up the mic for that.
Ronnie knew God.
Yeah.
God knew Ronnie.
Yeah.
And that is what I cling to every day. Every day.
I think that's what we're all clinging to. Definitely. It's just, and
he's at peace. And that's what I want. I didn't want it like this.
right. None of us do. Allie, what about you?
You know, Ronnie and I were supposed to go to Disney World that summer, and we had plans and reservations. Like, we had this one night that it was just going to be me and him, and we were going to go and eat at the Beauty and the Beast restaurant. And before summer even really got to us, it got so hot outside that summer. So me and my grandma, we kind of talked and decided that we thought it would be better if we rescheduled for Christmas. And we told Ronnie about it, and Ronnie was like, that would be perfect, you know, during the holidays, you get to experience the holiday in Disney World. And, you know, now I just think back, maybe we should have just went on and went during the summer, because Ronnie and I will never have that dinner, we'll never have that time, we'll never get to experience Disney World together like we planned.
What about you, Miss Susan? I know you've been kind of quiet. Okay. Joey? And just so everybody knows, it's okay to be emotional here.
Well, one thing, for everybody that did happen to see the video, that didn't know Ronnie, that was a total different person than who my brother was.
Right.
My brother, he was always outspoken. He always fought for what he believed in. And he always loved everybody and wanted what's best for everybody. And one of the biggest things that I like to remember about my brother was my brother liked to be the center of attention. There was no doubt about that. Not in a bad way, but in a good way. And was always joking around, making jokes, having a good time. But let me tell you, when my brother laughed, everybody knew who it was coming from, because he had the most distinctive, boisterous laugh of anybody.
Yeah. That he did.
You mentioned being the center of attention. We were just looking at a picture a little while ago of a friend of ours' wedding. It was the wedding photo with everybody right out there in front, and he was front and center in the brightest red shirt.
When everybody else was wearing gray and black, and all these good suits and everything like that, Ronnie had this bright red collar shirt. And it wasn't his wedding photo. That's the funny part. That was BJ's, I think, wasn't it?
Yes.
But what about you, Kenneth? What do you think has to be said here?
Just like what Joey said, that was not him. Those last moments, that was not him. What we've discussed about his life, that's what I want to be remembered.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's who he was.
Because that's who he was.
And truth be told, I mean, if there's anything that we can do here is kind of maybe make this viral. Because the sad part about it is his video went viral. and a whole bunch of sick people shared it. A whole bunch of sick people watched it and laughed. A whole bunch of people made different profiles just around that incident, on Instagram, on TikTok, and things like that. And the thing about it is, for any of you that saw it because of that, that was not him.
Make his life viral.
Yeah. Make the infectious person that he was viral.
His love.
Yeah.
Not that last
His
hour and
kindness.
30 minutes.
No. You're right. Could you say that louder?
Not that last hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah.
His life, not the ending.
Definitely.
That's not his defining moment.
No.
Not even close.
No, it wasn't. What about you, Chris?
I've said it several times to various people. Ronnie was an amazing person. Better or worse. The positives and the negatives. There wasn't a person who met him who didn't instantly know who he was.
Right.
And there's not a person who met him who ever forgot him. I can assure you of that as well.
That's very true.
For everything he was a compassionate and loving individual. The only thing he ever did wrong, truly did wrong, was he forgot to love himself.
Yeah.
And loving yourself doesn't mean giving yourself a day off. It doesn't mean eating that extra pint of ice cream or hitting that Ben and Jerry's up.
Though sometimes.
No,
let's be honest.
no. It means loving yourself enough to say no. I'm not going to do this to myself. Loving yourself enough to say, I need help, so I'm going to get help. Loving yourself enough to say, Mama needs to hear my voice right now.
Yeah.
Because even though I don't want to talk, even though I don't want to share it with her, and I don't want her to know I'm hurting, she needs to know that I'm thinking about her. And I mourn in a different way about Ronnie. Maybe it's because of my position. Maybe it's because of the circumstances. I've said it several times that many days it doesn't feel real.
It doesn't.
But in the end, the one emotion I have struggled with the most has been anger. Sometimes directed at Ronnie even. Because we had talked about it. We had discussed that he needed to reach out and tell people when he was going through these issues. But it was also anger towards myself for not taking measures to make sure he was doing better, make sure he was, having healthy coping mechanisms. And of course, at the end of the day, it wouldn't have mattered because being who Ronnie was, if he wasn't going to listen, he wasn't going to listen.
Stubborn as he was.
Right. But part of me wanted to fight with him on it.
Yeah.
Listen, you wouldn't believe. It is a good thing that the cops showed up before I did.
But at the end of the day, it really boils back to love yourself.
Yeah.
God loves you. He created you to be who you are as you are.
For a
And
reason.
it doesn't matter what your circumstances are. It doesn't matter if you're in a job you hate. It doesn't matter if you're in a position that you're not happy with relationship-wise. It doesn't matter if you feel lonely. You are where you are for a purpose.
Yeah.
And someday it will make sense.
Yeah.
Maybe it won't in this life, but one day you'll understand. Endure it, learn from it, and learn to love the world around you for who you are. Because you are the source of your happiness, not anybody else.
Right.
You and your relationship with Christ should be your primary source of being.
Yeah.
And Ronnie loved God, but forgot to love who he was.
Yeah. He forgot his purpose.
And that is the biggest takeaway I have. And understanding that can happen to anybody. I've struggled with depression. I've struggled with suicidal thoughts. It's been ingrained with me since I was a child. So I know that it's a difficult thing to deal with, and it can hit anybody at any time. Mm-hmm. So as people who love the people around us, we need to have love, faith, and we need to be available. Because, again, tomorrow could be the last time you see him.
Very true. Tyler, I know you've been kind of quiet. Do you have anything that's left unsaid, you think? No? Well, so I'm going to try to articulate this stuff as good as you guys did.
I'm glad you thought that was good.
I thought it was great. You guys all did great. Things that are left unsaid. I guess, more or less, it would be to relate with Chris a little bit. Just because, that's one of the ways that I've been grieving too, is anger. And a lot of that, especially when it was fresh on my mind, whenever it first happened, was, what the hell did you do to yourself? You're better than this. You're stronger than this. And not to be offensive here, but if, especially within those first few days, if Ronnie would have ever come back from the dead, I would have beat his ass. And I'm going to be 100% honest. I would have, if anybody knew that wasn't a solution, based upon all the people that you've reached out to, that is not the way to go. Because the thing is, again, once you're here, your life means something. And it's meant to be lived out until the end, no matter how that goes. But don't do it to yourself. You know better. There's people that loved you. I loved you. And I guess this last little bit here is going to go to Ronnie himself, though. Now that I've had some time to process things, had some time to be in it a little bit, be part of the grief. Ronnie, I don't know if you can hear where you're at right now, because I know you're with the Father. I believe that it's solely in my heart, and I think anybody that loves you knew what you stood for. But if maybe I can pass it on to God himself for him to tell you that we really miss you down here. Your audience misses you. I mean, your audience, we've got Tyler right here who loved to hear your voice, to hear you talk, and he feels pain. Your life meant something down here too. And I wish that there was anything that I could have done to bust down that door and snatch that gun away from you, even if I had to knock you out with the butt of it, just bam. If that would have saved your life. I don't know why you made the decision that you made, and there's a lot of questions that won't have answers, maybe ever. But I want you to know that we love you and that we value you. We value your memory, and we're gonna miss you big time. Your absence leaves a big scar. Right now it's a big open wound, and just know that we're gonna go every day loving you and missing you. Well, this would wrap up our final episode for the Theology and Perspective Podcast. One thing that I want to do for you guys, our audience, I know that this is kind of unexpected because you were wanting us to go a little further, and I even talked about going further. What we're going to do for you guys and for Ronnie's family as well, we're going to be opening up a merchandise store. 2 separate ones. One's going to be Ronnie specific Ronnie merchandise. We're going to have shirts, we're going to have sweaters, hoodies, and zip-ups, and even mugs. And for the Ronnie store, it's going to have Ronnie's face on it with a message on the back. We'll give you guys the prices a little bit later on those. But the Ronnie store, in particular, it's money going towards Ronnie's family. I think that's the place where that's meant to go, and it needs to go. For those of you interested in the Theology and Perspective merchandise, we're going to have relatively similar prices for all of them, and we're going to have t-shirts. We joked about doing leggings, but that doesn't work. But we're going to have mugs, and
I'd like to see you as well.
Oh. We'll talk later on that.
That's for our OnlyFans.
Oh, that's for OnlyFans. For our OnlyFans.
Call back.
There we go. But basically, it's going to have our logo on it, and I think we've worked on the store a little bit. And we think it's going to be really cool for you guys just to remember the podcast by, in the case that we don't start it back up ever again. Like I said, it might be future, it might not. But for those of you guys that are interested, just know we'll have a Teesprings account. And we'll share that on Facebook as well. And on our other social media pages. Kenneth actually was generous enough to start up some Twitter accounts and Instagram, so we'll be sharing those as well. This has been Theology and Perspective Podcast, and we know that you guys are sharing in our grief, and thank you guys for listening.